What's going on? Surreal, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. Man, I'm sort of excited to talk about this one because this one is actually one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, yeah. True Tanks, Samurai Warrior, Paco of SUAREZ Bulls. Man, I tell you what, I'm not saying I discovered the dog or anything like that, but they'll tell you I was the first advocate, like strong advocate of Paco, and the real reason why I was a first strong advocate was not because there was anything wrong with the dog. It was the changing of the guard, so to speak. I actually picked Paco, first. It was actually a fun show though. It was actually a Larry Durant show out in California. I think it was 2004 maybe, 2005, and packed house, man. Incredible show. Caesar Milan, the West Coast Gotti guys. The West Coast Customs guys was there. A ton of beautiful dogs. Monster, King Lion, Little Row, Nemesis, Blue Gangster, 21 Blackjack. It was a packed house, man. It was a beautiful thing. And so, it was the changing of the guard at this time because the American Bully was doing its thing, but it wasn't doing its thing. We were more of a little cult type thing to where we had our people, certain people liked us. It was, it was our thing, but it wasn't like the thing. So, Little Row was small at this time. And now it's hard to think of a dog that's being 16 inches and well into the 80s, a very thick, little stout dog as a small dog. But at that time, he was considered to be very small because I don't know if any of y'all remember the old Dog World, Dog Fancy magazines where people used to advertise these dogs at. These dogs would typically be, a lot of people would advertise, everything was over 100 pounds. I remember 21 Blackjack on Ed Shepard's website. He would put him on the scale and show people that he was 106 pounds, massive dogs. And that was the theme at that time. So the idea of a smaller dog just wasn't really, it really wasn't vibing. So, the next thing that we had is that when Little Row came along, it became a real big deal, It became a real big deal because Little Row took everything to the forefront, and Little Row, not Little Row, but Paco. Little Row introduced it, which is Paco's dad. Y'all excuse me on that. But Paco, we pushed him to this show. People started seeing it. He started getting a little bit of notoriety, and then it just blew up. And there was several special things about Paco. For one, he was just, he had the adorable look. Like, women loved him. You know what I mean? He was beefy enough that dudes loved him. Like, yeah, Paco is a bad motherfucker, But, but what it was is his conformation was very, very close to being exactly what you want. As a matter of fact, the male pocket standard is actually written after Paco. And the funny part about it is that although no one actually ever wants to admit it, the other standards were actually written after Paco, but they were advanced. That they would bring up the size, but most of the characteristics they were talking about were Paco's. And he had great symmetry. And, for those that don't understand what we mean by symmetry, is every part of his body fit. It was not like he had oversized shoulders and a smaller rear or, not enough chest. Everything was enough. Even if it wasn't great, it was enough. It was very good when it wasn't great. A headpiece was big, beautiful, thick neck. Pictures, for whatever reason, don't capture his head. You had to see his head in person. It was a lot bigger. Like, people always think that Row had a bigger head than Paco. He didn't. Paco had Little Row by a good amount. I think I measured Little Row at 22 and a quarter. Paco was being tape measured at right around 24. So it was a difference. Now, after that, the most endearing quality about Paco was his personality. And his personality tied in with Marco Suarez's personality because Marco, if anybody knows him, is a very, very positive, fun-loving type of dude. This was Paco, They would do the costumes, and it wasn't like Paco would be in the costume like the other dogs, like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna wear this shit. I mean, he liked it. He posed with his little costumes on. He strutted his stuff. His strut. I mean, his when he went in motion was so beautiful because for a stocky little body like that, I mean, he just flowed. You know what I mean? Looked like you could put a nice glass of Chardonnay on his back and tell him to run around the ring, and you come back and he ain't spilt one drip because he was so smooth. You know, you combine all these great characteristics of him as a dog to that character that could wear costumes, that could greet people, that was always a happy demeanor, that after, when he won his shows and he would see Marco was happy, he would basically literally at times jump up and hug Marco. The dog was like one of the most incredible ambassadors for the breed ever. And I would venture to say between him and Little Ro, his father, they were the best ambassadors for this breed that we've ever seen. Little Ro kicked down some doors, and when Paco came along, he just blew the whole damn doors off the hinges. And the breed wouldn't exist without these dudes, man. And Paco, unfortunately, we can't talk about the good without talking about the bad. He went and he became such a phenomenon. It was just people wanted him and wanted him and wanted him and wanted him. And Marco would just keep raising the stud fee to see if people would stop paying it. Turning people down. His phone was going crazy. And one thing about Suarez, I tell you this, he was unlike a lot of other people. Yeah, he did raise Paco's stud fee at one point to $10,000, but I'll tell you this though, he would also turn down $10,000. He turned down a lot of people's $10,000. For the sake of making a great dog. And that's why so many of Paco's offsprings were very, very nice dogs, because Marco managed his career, and that's what he used to call it, managing his career. And he took it serious. He really, really took it serious. He wasn't going to put that dog with just anybody or anything. So that, that turned out to be really great. But like with everything comes jealousy. And unfortunately, there were several attempts made on Paco's life. Ultimately, in the long run, poisoning is what did get him. It got him later. The poisoning caused him to have kidney failure, and attacked his organs later on in life. But it was sad, and I think I have a hard time even thinking about it because, Marco's a good dude, and I loved Paco because it was, as much as he represented for the good in the breed, he highlighted the ugliness of this breed, because people love that dog. But at the same time, for all the love and loving him for the right reasons, he was really a great dog. He was an American bully. He was what an American bully was supposed to be. The greed of people and the hatred of people that you would go to this man's home and load up hamburger and throw it over a fence, load it up with rat poisoning and poison this beautiful, happy little animal. It just showed, like I say, that it's amazing because I can talk so positively about it, but this is the way the story ends. And Paco's story, in many ways, it's the American bully. We had Paco's half-brother, De Niro. He suffered the same fate. Somebody came over there and poisoned him as he started to make his run at being very, very successful. I mean, this is American Bully, and this is why the community has been able to be great, because you've had some great moments, and you've had some great people, and you've had some great dogs. And also, this is the reason why the community has been so ugly, because you have people who are willing to take it to the furthest extent just to make a dollar. You've got some people who are very, very passionate, like crazy passionate, and then you have some people who are just crazy greedy. And when those worlds collide, when you put passion with greed, you're going to have some very ugly situations. And right now we have a very ugly situation in this breed. But even though it ended that way, I tell y'all, man, if y'all always want to know the history of the breed, if it's one guy that you would say is the guy, and keep in mind, I owned Hallie, and Hallie, was what it was, you know what I mean? She kicked everybody's ass. She was the first ever champion, beat Paco by 2 hours. But you know what I mean? But if it was a leader, if it was the guy, Paco was the guy because he was transcendent. He took this breed around the world. Paco was having more offspring over in Thailand and places like that than he even had in the States, even when these dogs was not even popular. And it's very, very inspiring what he did, and it's very heartbreaking how they did him. He deserved more. Marco did everything he could to make sure that that dog lived a great life, and to save his life, and I commend Marco for it. But it's just something to think about as how ugly our game could be. And y'all forgive me because I'm literally fighting back some emotion here because, you know, if you love these dogs, that dude is the reason that these dogs was what it was, you know. And to see some hateful motherfuckers kill that dog and do that stuff and damn near ran Marco out the game for a while, you know, when it was the most innocent. I'm here for passion. I love the dogs. Let's keep making dogs. Let's have fun. And to destroy that is, and it's a good reason why we are where we are today, the ugly element of it. And I won't go too deep, but a lot of the people who I think were responsible for that, and I have good reason from private conversations where I knew their hatred towards Marco and that dog and the jealousy and different things like that. Some of those people are still in power of the American bully community today, and it explains a lot when we see where a person's heart is at. But with all that being said, man, Paco, true legend, in my opinion, the #1 American bully of all time. I have no problem saying that, even with the dogs that I've had. The #1 American bully of all time. Much love to the brother, wherever he is at this time, man. That dog did his thing. Much love to Marco Suarez and Suarez Bulls, pioneers of this game. The game wouldn't be the same without them, you know. Until next time, y'all, much love. Peace.